PewDiePie made the biggest oopsie. Oh my gosh. Big oopsie. No recovery. It's over for PewDieOopsie. Poopsie. Doopsie doopsie. I'm Gloria Borger, and you're watching Pew News.
Alright, we're going to talk about PewDiePie, and we're going to put this dumb take to bed once and for all. Yet again, he's been hit with another round of outrage and accusations of being a Nazi on Twitter, Facebook, and LeftTube. But first, we need to talk about why it's important to talk about this. First of all, it's important morally, because it's unjust to make false or lazy accusations. That's what the right does. It hinders our ability to build class consciousness and organize. Who the fuck is going to want to get involved in leftism if we're broadcasting to the world that we're willing to brand every ignorant edgelord gamer a crypto-Nazi, regardless of context or intent? We're advertising that we don't really care about facts over feelings. We feel like Pew is or was dog whistling to the alt-right, so everything he does is scrutinized with that assumption in mind. Fuck context, we have a string of examples of racist behavior. No need to investigate for myself. PewDiePie has 100 million fans. Fans who watch his content day after day for entertainment, most of whom are 13-year-olds. That's 100 million potential comrades. But when they hear the left accuse Felix of being a crypto-Nazi on weak evidence and then contrast that with what they see and hear from him every day because they're fans, they aren't going to want to touch us with a 10-foot pole. Why do you think the alt-right is so eager to claim him as their own? It's that young, impressionable audience. We aren't the people consuming PewDiePie's content. They are. And they know that. If we're upset with someone's actions or content, we have to be accurate in our critiques and explain how the behavior can contribute to and normalize white supremacy or whatever. At the same time, let's make sure the things we do critique are actually worthy of critique in the first place. Otherwise, we're going to problematize and purity test ourselves out of existence. We are the left. The right builds false narratives and conspiracy theories based on flimsy and misleading data and reasoning. They need to do this in order to justify unjust hierarchies and a class system. We don't. We succeed by revealing the man behind the curtain, by exposing the system, the facts, and the history. To maintain the status quo, the right essentializes individuals and groups as possessing innate characteristics that justify their position in the hierarchy. Laziness, criminality, ambition, intelligence, etc. It's our job to deconstruct and demystify these delusions and instead turn our attention to bad systems and bad behaviors without moralizing or essentializing. But this is exactly what we've done to PewDiePie. Over the course of 4,000 videos and hundreds of hours of content, we've managed to collect half a dozen footnotes to build up what amounts to the left's version of the globalist conspiracy. Oh, the irony. So there's two main narratives that explain PewDiePie and his actions. The first is that he is a crypto-Nazi, or was one, and doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt given all the awful racist things he's done. The second is that he's an edgy gamer who got into alt-light and anti-SJW content when it became popular after Gamergate, but eventually grew out of it like most people did. So let's break down every piece of evidence, bit by bit, and see which theory it supports. Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? Sure, a Nazi would do that, but so would ignorant people or trolls. This happened back when MAGA was still mostly just a meme for a ridiculous presidential campaign. I even wore the hat ironically, for the lulz.
Look at all these attractive people. Look at the beautiful. I'll never be this beautiful. Why was I born with this Swedish face? Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So cute. So cute. Oh! 18, nigga!
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? An actual Nazi would not use that word in that context. They like the hard R version, and they definitely wouldn't retweet that. Normies say the word to appropriate cool black culture all the time. He shouldn't do that, nor should normies. But this one is a nothing. Half the planet would be in cancel jail if we decide that this is a serious offense.
Zweitens, die folgende Herr kompromisslos die einzige Macht und alleinige Macht in Deutschland.
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? No. Actual Nazis hide their power level. They don't make a show of it. Dumb.
Now, I love the fact that they're using this video of Felix in Nazi imagery as support that he's anti-Semitic. But of course, they remove all of the context, because this comes from a video entitled "I'm Racist," where he lampoons the media for mischaracterizing him as racist.
This is what people would actually think if I didn't have a chance to, you know. Because people just read the title. People just read this and they're like, oh, okay, I see. PewDiePie's a Nazi now, that's... Alright.
He puts on the imagery and he watches a Hitler speech as a joke, making fun of himself and the media who mischaracterizes him. And of course, they took it out of context to show that he's anti-Semitic. It's fucking absurd. Think about this. The person who made this video and who wrote these articles looked at all of his videos, saw that he was talking about how the media misrepresents him, ignored that, made the conscious decision to cut out the pieces they wanted to misrepresent him again.
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? No. Ben Shapiro is a Jew. By the way, I got this image from JewWorldOrder.org. Nazis don't like Ben Shapiro. Let's just make that clear. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro? Yes, an edgy gamer would bring on Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro is an anti-SJW, and his Jewishness would not be a problem for an edgy gamer, while it would for a fascist.
But anyway, Fiverr now has decided that this kind of work is not enough. They need more. So they've expanded into pretty much fucking everything. It was a blissful moment when I discovered this. We have the low of the low, the scraping of the bottom, fun and lifestyle. Basically just become, I'll do pretty much anything you want for $5.
PewDiePie went on Fiverr, and as a joke, he asked people to hold up a sign that says "Death to all Jews," comma, everyone's forgetting the second part, "Death to all Jews, comma, subscribe to Keemstar."
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? Maybe. Yeah, a Nazi would do that. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro? Yes, an edgy gamer would definitely do that.
I feel like as a Jew and somebody who knows Felix and is friends with him, I'm in a unique position to talk about this situation. He's making a joke about Keemstar, making it sound like he's anti-Semitic, okay? That's the joke. Now, another part of this commentary, and you're making me explain a fucking joke, which is always obscene, is that he's seeing what you can get people to do for $5. It's an interesting commentary. He found a guy who impersonates Jesus and got him to say Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong.
Hello, Jesus here. Just want to let you all know that Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong.
Now that is fucking hilarious, guys, okay? It's a joke. He's not serious. There's a big difference, guys. Context matters. As a Jewish person, I'm not offended. And this is the problem with this manufactured outrage. People getting offended for people who are not offended.
I'm sorry for the words that I used, as I know they offended people. And I admit that the joke itself went too far. I do strongly believe that you can joke about anything, but I also believe that there's a right way and not the best way to joke about things, and I love to push boundaries, but I would consider myself a rookie comedian, and I've definitely made mistakes like this before, but it's always been a growing and learning experience for me, and it's something that I actually learned to really appreciate, and I think this whole situation has definitely been that. What a fucking nigger. Jeez, oh my god, what the fuck. Sorry, but what the fuck. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? Yes, a Nazi would say this. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro? Also yes.
Hello, I wanted to make a statement on what I said in my previous live stream. You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature and stupid, and I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming as well. It was something that I said in the heat of the moment. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out. And I'm not going to make any excuses to why it did, because there are no excuses for it. I'm disappointed in myself because it seems like I've learned nothing from all these past controversies. And it's not that I think I can say or do whatever I want and get away with it. That's not it at all. I'm just an idiot. But that doesn't make what I said or how I said it okay. It was not okay. I'm really sorry if I offended, hurt, or disappointed anyone with all of this. Being in the position I am, I should know better. I know I can't keep messing up like this. And I owe it to my audience and to myself to do better than this, because I know I'm better than this. I really want to improve myself and better myself, not just for me, but for anyone that looks up to me or anyone that's influenced by me. And that's how I want to move forward away from this.
Remember, PewDiePie lives in Sweden, not America. Not everyone on the planet grows up with this hair-trigger sensibility on race relations and white supremacy. Racism is a joke to edgy teens and the rest of the world because of its sheer absurdity. In my teen years, I participated in and witnessed all the same forms of edgy humor, especially centering around gaming. And here's a spoiler alert for you: the Asian, black, and brown kids, they were in on it too. Oftentimes leading the way. None of whom, by the way, turned out alt-right. Sometimes, comrades, it really is just for the lulz. And 9 times out of 10, people just need room to grow and realize what terrible assholes they used to be. This behavior still deserves to be criticized for normalizing racist attitudes, but blurting out the most offensive word you can think of after getting sniped in Counter-Strike does not a Nazi make. On the other hand, sometimes it isn't just jokes. But this is why we have to get out the red markers, turn down our fash alert meter, and engage in some critical thinking. We are leftists, after all.
What did PewDiePie do this time, huh? PewDiePie gives shout out to hateful anti-Semitic YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, I knew it. YouTube star PewDiePie promotes channel with anti-Semitic content. PewDiePie is shepherding his legion of 14-year-olds. Hey, did someone just have their birthday? Happy birthday. Looks like you're 14 now. Towards neo-Nazi content on YouTube. Probably something that someone should check into. I agree. We should check into it. Why don't we just do that, shall we? Let's see what he actually said. Can't wait to get this guy for promoting Nazism. We finally have him now, boys. ER, who does great video essays about, he did one on Death Note, which I really enjoyed. Did you catch that? Oh my god. Did you see that? Did you catch that? Did you notice the shepherding of 14-year-olds to Nazi propaganda? Did you notice the immediate indoctrination of 75 million children into Nazis? Did you notice it? That's right. He recommended someone for their anime review. So basically what happened was that PewDiePie shouted out 28 channels last Sunday. That's right. Not 10, not 15, 28, okay?
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? Yeah, but a real fascist would likely choose more than 1 out of 28 channels to promote. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro?
Yes. Because I was getting so much attention for all this subscribe to PewDiePie meme that I thought it would be nice if I gave a shout out to some smaller channels that I enjoyed. And I thought, hey, the more the merrier. Now, apparently one of those 28 likes to have hidden and not so hidden Nazi references in his videos. And, you know, obviously, if I've noticed that, I wouldn't have referenced him in the shout-out because I said not because I have a problem with Nazi references being offensive in themselves, but because I said publicly a year and a half ago that I was going to distance myself from Nazi jokes and that kind of stuff because I want nothing to do with it and I don't really care about it. Generally, I've done that. I haven't really, I don't really have a reason to, I don't know, dip into that again. It's just stupid. But you know, YouTube star PewDiePie now promotes anti-Semitic content. By what? By saying I enjoyed his anime review? The worst thing that I've seen him reference was from another channel that he has, not the channel I mentioned, and a video that was 2 years old. So, wow, amazing. And yes, he does have Nazi references in them, and I see them now, but unless you pay close attention, and unless you're well familiar with Nazi trivia, or whatever you want to call it, these references will go past you. The irony here is that I'm supposed to be the Nazi, but I don't know any of these goddamn references.
What's your perspective on it at all? You don't know?
I really don't. I wish I could have a stronger opinion. It's just, the problem is that like these gamer bro people are like so fucking stupid. Like it's actually plausible that they're just that dumb and fucked up. Like it's possible, as sad as it is.
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? Yes, but he would see further right stuff if he was an actual Nazi. Much further right stuff. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro? Yes. Just like almost every gamer on the planet, I even sub to some of these channels. And remember, Lauren Southern and Molyneux started off a lot less fashy than they are now. Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? Sure, this is evidence. Doesn't mean it's good evidence. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro? Also yes. Claiming an influential celebrity as secretly one of your own is not new and not exclusive to fascists.
Did you see the Harry Potter message that he put about like how PewDiePie is like a fucking, he's based or he's on the verge of being based?
No, but there are a lot of, that's like a meme that goes around 4chan. There's a lot of people that think that famous people are secretly like harboring like alt-right sentiments.
That's true, like Chris Pratt, right? They say like fucking Chris Pratt.
My favorite example was, because they had a fucking meltdown over this, was fucking Taylor Swift. Where huge conspiracy that they thought that Taylor even like posted on fucking 4chan, and then when she came out backing a Democrat candidate or whatever, people got real ass pain because they and again people always say like it's just memes, but there were a lot of people that were real fucking mad when she came out for a Democrat, and it should be fucking obvious. It's fucking Taylor Swift, like come on.
Also, fascists are constantly adopting new symbols and changing them when people figure them out. Like Pepe the Frog, subscribe to PewDiePie, the triple parentheses, and things like Norse runes. They do this to signal to each other for plausible deniability and to confuse normies. There's nothing inherently racist about the OK sign, for example.
Just for the sake of just being ridiculously clear, at least in my opinion, anyone who's racist, anyone who's white nationalist, that's not what I'm about, and that's not what this channel has ever been about.
Good evening. I'm Papa Gloria. What did he do? Just tell me. What oopsie did PewDiePie do to drag me out of my retirement? I thought I was done. I thought he'd just move on playing Minecraft. Unbelievable. What did he do? He tried to donate to a charity. Oh, what? Oh, that's bad. BBC posted PewDiePie cancels 50,000 donation to anti-hate group. I messed up. Great title, BBC. Very nice.
Is this evidence that he's a Nazi? No. No one who spent any amount of time in alt-right spaces would ever consider donating to the ADL. Like, do you seriously think PewDiePie would risk having everyone calling him a Nazi again just to troll the Jews? Dumb take. Is this evidence that he's an edgy gamer bro? Yes, an edgy gamer who was completely politically illiterate and disengaged might do something like this. So your theory's stupid.
Here's what actually happened. Oh, we're back at it again, aren't we? I'll explain the full context really quickly. For my 100 million reward video, I wanted to donate to a charity to celebrate hitting 100 million subscribers. And I thought a charity that is against racism and anti-Semitism made sense to sort of put an end to a lot of bad chapters in the past that are way overspoken about, and it's just boring me at this point. But the internet started freaking out because they were like, why are you donating to this charity? This charity celebrated you losing your position with Disney. This charity has also done other things that are kind of questionable and worth criticism. And it's almost like it was taking a way bigger stance than just wanting to stop racism and anti-Semitism. It became way more than that for a lot of people. And the more I looked into the charity, and I don't want to go into the specific of why, I don't think the charity is as bad as everyone says, but at the same time, it just didn't make sense for me to donate it to it. So I said, I'm gonna still donate just to another charity with the same idea and the same intent behind it, just another charity. If you have a recommendation, I would love to hear it in the comments, by the way, because I am still donating, okay? But of course, I mean, I knew it was going to be taken badly, but the headlines are just amazing. First, BBC, of course. I really liked the addition of the quote, "I messed up." Kind of be like, as if I was saying, oh, I messed up for trying to donate to this anti-hate group. How could I try to stop hate? Oh, what a mess up. Like BBC, seriously? And then Twitter, PewDiePie retracts $50,000 donation to Jewish anti-hate group. How could he? I'm still gonna donate! Now, the craziest part about this whole thing hasn't even been addressed yet, which was the sweater I wore. Twitter lost their mind over the sweater I wore. Which was one of those things that at first was kind of funny, and then it's just spiraled into something like, okay, this is just messed up. Like, what's actually wrong with people? So some people took this sweater as a way for me to symbolize to Nazis that I'm a Nazi. This is how people think. I'm not even like, this is not even a straw man. This is what people think. That cross, people were very sure that was a Nazi cross, and people started attacking me because of it. Never mind the fact that it's Georgian characters literally right next to it. Never mind the fact that I've wore it many times before on my channel, and the only time I've seen people comment about it has been Georgian people with excitement. I don't think about what I wear that much. I didn't even know about the Iron Cross. I think I heard something about it, but I don't think about these things. I don't care about these tiny Nazi references. Like, it's just crazy. Twitter even had to update the whole thing to clarify that the symbol was actually not a Nazi cross. What? He didn't wear a Nazi outfit? And even then, a lot of people were saying like the German cross is not necessarily Nazi thing in general, but that was not even what it was. The cross in Georgia is a very important symbol. It's literally used in their flag. And the brand I was wearing, Vetmons, is anything but a Nazi brand. And a lot of people will be like, oh, he doesn't care about Georgia. I've been like, I've spoken about this brand before. I really like this brand because they do a lot of dumb stuff, like having a sweater that's inside out. How quirky. But then also doing serious stuff, like the designer is from Georgia. He did this collection to bring attention to what it was like growing up in Georgia during that war-ridden period. It was funny seeing people retract their initial statement about this as well, like, oh, actually, I found out it's a Georgian cross and not an actual Nazi cross, but he's still an idiot for wearing it. I mean, now we're talking at least. Like, that's a fair argument that I can actually agree with. Like, if people think it's irresponsible of me, and maybe I should know more, sure. Like, that's criticism I can actually take. But to blatantly just say, he did this because he's a Nazi, it's the dumbest thing ever. And all these people retracting their statement about it, it's almost the same thing as me retracting my donation because I didn't find out all the information yet. What? Crazy how people do that. Except I'm not calling anyone horrible things. It's ridiculous. I want to point out, I think both ends of the extreme are complete lunatics, delusional. You know, Nazis that think I'm trying to signalize to them by wearing a Georgian sweater, you're idiots. And the opposite of people trying to pinpoint me as a Nazi to make me some sort of villain, you're idiots too. And me, for wearing something that could be referenced, although it was completely not in my mind at all, makes me an idiot too. We're all idiots. Congratulations. I'm in a very unique position. There's no one ahead of me. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. But what I do realize is that I'm not apologizing to these lunatics anymore. Whatever side you're on, I don't like you. I made edgy jokes like, what is it getting on? 3 years now? I haven't done it anymore. But I keep getting roped in based on conspiracy level theories. And yeah, I'm not apologizing for that anymore. This is so stupid. Next news.
All right, let's tally up the board. And we have a winner! PewDiePie is not a Nazi! You unscrupulous ding-dongs. Some of these things do contribute to stochastic terrorism, albeit in a very limited capacity in PewDiePie's case, as American Johnson has already pointed out. Edgy jokes can indeed be used to funnel people into the alt-right. Pew was absolutely contributing to this, albeit unwittingly. The problem for the theory is that if Pew was really dog-whistling to fascists, the pattern would be a whole lot clearer and internally consistent. What Nazi invites Ben Shapiro on? What Jew would uncritically engage with and endorse a Nazi? Which white supremacist are you aware of that would offer to donate 50 grand to the ADL? The point is, if you just allow for the slightest modicum of charitability and shift your hypothesis to the more reasonable one, everything makes sense. All the data points are logically consistent. So instead of making wild accusations based on our preconceived notions and poorly compiled conspiracy theories, just say, hey man, that thing you did wasn't cool and here's why. On the other hand, if the indications are clear that your subject has shown a pattern of dog whistling and gaslighting, expose and essentialize away. Real fascists get no quarter. We need to be vigilant, but at the same time avoid alienating potential comrades with dumb takes. We also have to be cognizant of the fact that not everybody is a leftist. Normies just aren't educated enough and aren't aware of Nazi dog whistling. They don't understand stochastic terrorism and the alt-right pipeline, nor do they understand the degree to which fascism threatens our Western democracy. Nobody gets this stuff unless they spend lots of time learning about fascism or on left Twitter or BreadTube. Capitalism has successfully kept them distracted. We can't blame them for that if we want to win them over. As capitalism nears its twilight, South Park, Family Guy, and the modern era of edgy jokes takes on new meaning and weight in light of an increasingly racist and nationalist political climate.
Though what is crucial here, as Benjamin argued in 1936, is that it's not simply the case that novel media forms inspire violence or racism. The fundamental catalyst is economic, as the frustration at the unfulfilled promise of riches is calmed by diversionary tactics that employ nationalism and racism both in overt and ironic forms. Yet we have the benefit of hindsight, and today, just as in the 1930s, the slide towards intolerance has at its roots an unfair economic system, which we need to challenge through serious political discourse and action.
Alright fam, thumbs up if you liked the video. Thumbs down if you think any non-black person singing along to a Biggie or Tupac song counts as a alt-right crypto-fascist. Thumbs down for that. Got a few new patrons though I want to thank before we go. Special thanks to our $2 patrons, Jacob McCarthy, Wes Franklin, Ranger Jenny, our $5 intermediate comrades, Noah, Ben Johnston, Jazz, Neo Florian, and our $10 Vanguard criticizers, JWoww, and Offerlos, Vagarning, and Lobster. I also have a new $20 category if you guys really enjoy what I do, so please consider helping me out on Patreon, and follow me on Twitter and Curious Cat.